It's 11 p.m. The deadline is breathing down your neck. You can feel its hot, stale breath, smelling faintly of your boss's disappointment and your own crushed dreams. This is it. This is the moment. You open the document. You stare at the blinking cursor. It blinks at you, you blink back, and suddenly a question of profound, earth-shattering importance pops into your head. How exactly do they make maraschino cherries so red? An hour later, you know everything there is to know about the industrial dyeing process of preserved fruit, but your document is still a vast white desert. That familiar cold dread begins to creep in. It's not just a feeling, it's a physical presence. A knot in your stomach, a tightness in your chest. You failed again. You tell yourself you're lazy, you're undisciplined, you're just fundamentally broken. But what if I told you that's a lie? What if I told you procrastination has almost nothing to do with laziness, time management, or your character? The uncomfortable scientific truth is this: procrastination is not a productivity problem. It is an emotion regulation problem. It's a survival instinct gone wrong. You don't put off the task because you're lazy. You put it off because the task makes you feel bad, bored, anxious, insecure, frustrated. And your brain, in its infinite and deeply misguided wisdom, tries to protect you by making you run away. For your entire life, you've been trying to solve this problem like a firefighter, living in a constant state of panic, surrounded by sirens, scrambling to put out a 5-alarm blaze of a deadline you ignored for 3 weeks. It's exhausting, it's heroic, and it always leaves a trail of destruction. The secret isn't to become a better firefighter. The secret is to stop being the firefighter altogether and become the fire inspector. The fire inspector doesn't run into burning buildings. They calmly walk through the structure before the disaster with a clipboard and a checklist and systematically eliminate every single thing that could cause a fire in the first place. They deal in prevention, not panic. Today, I'm giving you the official fire inspector's blueprint to kill tomorrow. Not the day itself, but the idea of tomorrow. That mythical fantasy land where you'll magically have more time, more energy, and more motivation. That place is a lie. We're going to fireproof your life right here, right now. Part 1 of the inspection: identify the hazard. A fire inspector knows that you can't fight an invisible threat. You have to find it, name it, and tag it. When you feel the urge to procrastinate, that magnetic pull to your phone or the fridge, you have to stop and ask one simple question. What specific feeling am I trying to avoid right now? Don't just say, I feel bad. Get specific. Is it the anxiety of not knowing where to start? Is it the crushing boredom of filling out a spreadsheet? Is it the insecurity that your work won't be good enough? Is it the frustration of a task you don't know how to do? Your brain's emotional center, the amygdala, is like a ridiculously oversensitive smoke detector. It can't tell the difference between a house fire and a piece of burnt toast. A difficult task triggers the alarm, screaming danger, abort. Naming the specific emotion is like walking over to the alarm, looking at the situation calmly, and saying, "Oh, it's not a fire, it's just the toast." This simple act of labeling moves the activity from the panicked, primitive part of your brain to the logical prefrontal cortex. You're not trying to ignore the feeling, you're just reclassifying it from a 5-alarm threat to a minor, manageable annoyance. You're inspecting the hazard, not running from the alarm. Part 2 of the inspection: defuse the ignition source. The single most dangerous thing in your entire house is a cognitive bias called effort discounting. It's the neurological lie that powers all procrastination. Neuroscientists at the Paris Brain Institute found that when we think about a task we have to do tomorrow, our brain discounts the amount of effort it will take by as much as 40 to 60%. This is the ignition source. It's the faulty wiring in the wall that tells your present self, don't worry about this. It's fine. Future you has got this. Future you is a productivity god. Future you loves spreadsheets. But future you is a myth. Future you is just you with less sleep and more regret. The fire inspector's job is to diffuse this. You do it by forcing your brain to face reality. Instead of vaguely thinking, I'll do this tomorrow, you stop and vividly imagine the actual effort. Say it out loud. If I do this report tomorrow, it will still take 3 hours. I will still hate doing it. I will still feel this same anxiety, except I will also be more tired and under more pressure. There is zero benefit to waiting. You are reversing the temporal bias by acknowledging that the effort will be the exact same. You remove the rationalization for delay, you kill the fantasy of tomorrow, and force yourself to deal with the reality of today. Part 3 of the inspection. Install an automatic sprinkler system. The best fire inspector knows that even with all the hazards identified and diffused, you can't rely on being present and heroic when a fire starts. You need an automated system that works without you. You need a sprinkler. In productivity, this is called an implementation intention. It sounds fancy, but it's brutally simple. It's an if-then plan. You replace a vague goal like, I'll work on the project this afternoon, with a preloaded command, if it is 2 p.m., then I will open the document and write for just 15 minutes. Notice the trick. The decision is no longer up for debate. You're not waiting to feel like it. You're not relying on your thimble bucket of willpower. You have outsourced the decision to a trigger in your environment, the clock hitting 2 p.m. The moment the trigger occurs, the action happens. It's a system so automatic, so foolproof, it just works. Kind of like the system that notifies you when a new video is out. You don't have to remember to check. You don't need willpower to see if there's a new way to fix your slightly broken brain. You just have to hit the subscribe button and the bell does the rest. It's the ultimate if-then plan for not missing out. See? Automated. Okay, back to the inspection. A massive meta-analysis of 94 studies showed that this simple if-then trick increases your chances of actually doing the thing by 200 to 300%. It works for exercise, for studying, for quitting smoking. It's the closest thing we have to a cheat code for human behavior because it bypasses the emotional drama completely. So, let's put the blueprint together. When you face a task you want to avoid, you don't fight it, you inspect it. First, you identify the hazard. What am I feeling right now? Anxiety about starting. Second, you defuse the ignition source. Tomorrow will not be easier, the effort will be the same, but the stress will be higher. There is zero logical reason to wait. You are fact-checking your brain's temporal illusion. By reversing the bias and acknowledging that the effort will be the exact same, you remove the rationalization for delay. You kill the fantasy of tomorrow and force yourself to deal with the reality of today. Third, you activate the sprinkler system. If I finish this cup of coffee, then I will work on the smallest possible piece of this task for just 5 minutes. That's it. It's time to pick up the clipboard, become the inspector, and finally kill tomorrow. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go plan out my next video, which I'll definitely start working on tomorrow.